Hey guys, so my last two videos I just uploaded were starting my last class in nursing school and what I did, and then preparing for the NCLEX, how I felt, how everything went down. Now I'm gonna do starting working because that last video leads me to, okay, I got my license, now what? So I started working at a magnet facility, but after I took the NCLEX, if you watched my last video, and if you didn't, I'll give you a little update. So I passed the NCLEX in October. I didn't start working till January because I had 2 weddings, Thanksgiving, Christmas. I just had a lot going on and I didn't want to ask for time off. So I waited till January, and I feel like that was really nice because it gave me the time I needed to spend with my loved ones and people I haven't really gotten the opportunity to see because of nursing school. So that was really convenient. My biggest hurdle while starting was being terrified and having no confidence. I just was so scared I would make a mistake and lose my license or something like that. I was just terrified. So I'm in a new grad program at a magnet facility, and they are awesome. They're really good, and we do progress meetings every week. So what I like about that is you get feedback from your preceptor, management, and educator. And they really talk about like where you can improve in, what you're doing well in. You can talk about what you don't feel safe doing, or everything that you're doing is covered in that meeting. And it's like kind of like a little open time for you to talk and get your feelings out on the table. So my biggest thing was charting. I struggled so bad with charting. I felt like nursing school, those care plans are great, but what would have been better is giving me like a charting simulator, and I had a chart on 3 patients you gave me information about. Or calling a doctor and having to chart that. I was so slow at charting, which led to my time management being complete trash. That was like a huge struggle for me for like 6 weeks. And it became a problem to the point like I thought like I can't do this or I'm going to lose my job, or maybe I'm not meant to be a nurse and I just worked so hard to get here. Like, what am I going to do? So I finally reached out to a couple people and was like, how can I make my time management better? Like, is there a way for me to manage my time better, but also be better at charting? So a couple of them reached out and had told me like what they do about their routine and how they chart. My biggest, the problem I had, and I didn't know I had at the time, was I was going in, doing vitals on my patient, assessing them, and then giving meds. I was always late on my meds. And then I was like, okay, now I should be charting. Why am I not charting? Now I understand why I was struggling, and then everybody's like, no, you assess while you give meds. So I'm in there, I'm opening your meds, but I'm also looking at this little things. And while you're taking your meds, or they're sitting in the cup just taking one by one, I'm looking over everything and checking all the things that are super important at that time. This allowed me so much more time in my day, and I started to realize, okay, now I'm getting the swing of things. Also, my charting, so like the little piece of paper you use to keep all your information on, I changed to make it very short, basic things. Like, I can get to a computer if I need to call a doctor. I was trying to like put everything on my old papers, and I just couldn't do that. I was taking so much time up of my morning looking all this stuff up. So the other feedback I got back from the other nurses and educators was, you need to make your paper shorter. So I did. And I made it for 3 days. So there's like columns, and this is day 1, day 2, day 3. And I made a checklist of like all the charting that needs to get done at the end of the day. And I just, at the end of my day, after I do like shift change, I just go through and make sure I got all of my charting done and everything is in. And there's little check boxes. But what I liked about doing 3 columns was if I have my patient 3 days in a row, I can see my care progress or change. And I also put in there, rather than like a checklist, I did a time column, which I think a lot of people like. So I just put check boxes in those time frames of when things need to get done, like a dressing change or like their meds, anything like that. And I don't always write like what meds they're on. I just write like if the patient has 8 meds, 5 meds, so 12 o'clock, 5 meds, check, they're done. 10 o'clock dressing change, done. Gabapentin at 2 o'clock, done, So you need to, it's just something you have to learn. What works for you might not work for me. What works for me and it might not work for you. And I have no problem, like, if I can pull it up on my computer while I talk, showing you what I did. I did constantly hear in my progress meetings, okay, like your knowledge is there, but your time management still isn't. And that was a super big pill for me to swallow because I've never been told like I'm not good at something. And not that they didn't say like you're not good. I've always been proficient in a job or been recognized for my hard work. So to not be doing super well in something was so frustrating to me. So this is, if you can see it, the charting I did. So here I just put like basic information, name, date of birth, room number, what they're admitted for, if they're AccuCheck. Here I do the doctor, and then like I's and O's, are they fall risk, what's their diet. And then in the center I do any abnormal labs, and I will write like lines, and I write the date at the top so I know I can see if their hemoglobin is dropped or anything important like that. And then my charting checklist is down at the bottom, so all those little dots. And then you can see here my timeline that I made. So right here, I just go through my timeline, and there's right where I write my meds. And on the side, I have fluids, IV drips, are they on a Foley, a drain, any catheter, anything like that. And at the bottom, I don't always print the second page. I normally only print the first. Then on the back, I'll just draw 3 columns and put their assessment in there. And then at the bottom, I write like history, orders, notes, anything that's like important, like wife or husband's phone number if they need to be contacted and it's not on the chart right now. Basically, that's what I do. So you can see here my 3-day checklist. So you can see, I don't know how to go up and down backwards. So you can see here, like this, I say day 1, day 2, and then day 3. And then I just go through when it's like day 2 and I scribble it out. So I'm just looking at day 3. And then you can see, I can see like, okay, this day they had crackles, this day they did not. And now like they're just diminished here, but now they're clear. So we're getting to where we want to go, or vice versa. We started clear, now we're getting wet, and now we're in fluid overload. So it's just a good way to see how your patient is going and maybe to catch yourself. So that's what I did. Oh wait, I need that there. I need my notes. So yeah. And honestly, I just learned that confidence comes with time. That's just something you just have to learn to trust yourself and rely on people. Not like you can't, you're a team, but you're also an individual. But my biggest thing is if you are scared to ask something, you're going to drown. You have to be comfortable with asking for help when you need it. And you have to be able to recognize you are one person. You can't do everything. I don't know about other facilities, but we have a lot of resources at my hospital for you to delegate or ask for help. And even when you ask for help, sometimes you're still overwhelmed, and that's okay. Everybody tells me it's going to be a year before you stop feeling like this. And even at that, you might still feel overwhelmed at some points as a 12-year nurse or whatever. And when I was precepting, I remember seeing one of my preceptors cry one day because her day was so bad. And she was like, this was seriously one of the worst days I've ever had. So it's not always going to be rainbows and butterflies, and don't think you're the only one who's overwhelmed, especially if you're a nurse starting like me in a pandemic. The sickest of the sick are coming in. These patients are extremely ill and did not come to the hospital when they should have, and now they're here, so your patient load is heavy because every single one of your patients is in critical condition or has like comorbidities or whatever it is. So just know you're not alone. And sometimes it's okay to lock yourself in the bathroom. Sometimes I just go pee if I don't have to. And I just like, it's the only time I can take a second to okay. And then just look back at my paper. What's next? That's all you can do sometimes. And you know what? Sometimes I even keep like Uncrustables. Actually, not sometimes. Every shift I keep an Uncrustable in my pocket, because sometimes you need to hide behind a door somewhere and just eat it and breathe for like 2 minutes. That's all you need. Just get some food in you, get your blood sugar up, and get going. So that was my experience with starting. I did have a lot of trouble with time management. I am overcoming it, but it took a lot of help from fellow nurses. And also, I'm on a really good unit. Every unit has drama, cliques, whatever. But if your unit works really well together, that's always a positive. So it doesn't hurt for you to ask, if you're getting interviewed, how well does your unit work together? And sometimes they'll be honest with you. They'll be like, well, we're getting there. Or no, we have a great team here. Okay, that's great. And when you're precepting, not precepting, I like shadowed on night shift to see what it was like. And I asked them, like, because your peer co-worker people are going to be more honest with you, I think. Sometimes the management who might not have been on the floor for a while. So they'll let you know how it is. But I'm here. I'm like 2 weeks on my own now. I'm not dead. And it's just a lot at first, but we're getting through it. I did start my bachelor's, so I'll let you guys know how that's going soon. And I'll try to keep more videos coming up, but honestly, sometimes to get my whole camera out, so I don't mind just using my phone. It just might not be as clear as using my real camera, but sometimes this is just easier to upload from. So, okay guys. If you have any questions, like I said, ask me on Instagram. I'm much more active. If you don't have Instagram, comment below and I'll get back to you when I get back to you. Sometimes it might be a month and I'm sorry. But let me know if you guys have any requests to upload videos. I have no problem talking about certain things or putting an Instagram TV video up. All right? Sorry, I'm taking so many breaths and breathing so heavy. I'm so tired. My anxiety is so high, like right after I work a couple shifts. So, all right. We're doing okay. We're here. We made it this far. We got it. Okay. All right. Bye, guys. Stay safe.